Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, as you very well know, and I am joined by a new hero of mine, a galactic hero. And up until recently, I did not know his name, his real name. I've only known him for what he's done online. And as a fellow Star Wars collector, I don't know if you also collect Star Trek or other Star things, but we're here tonight specifically to talk about Star Wars. And Rich from Pop Critica, links are in the video description to subscribe and share and all that, reached out to me. It was a while ago. I can't remember how the Twitter threads started really, but recently he asked, hey, have you ever seen the Mafex Darth Vader? And he knows, I think the entire world knows that I collect Darth Vader. He's my focus. I collect Star Wars in general, but like I'm sorry, Darth Vader is one focus. I now have many focuses. I need a focus, I know. But Rich has enabled me, and he said, "Hey, if I was able to send you one, would you be interested in unboxing?" And I'm not sure how it came about, but we are doing a hangout together because he's actually held on to one of these and has one and has taken pictures that he's posted on his website. And if the link hasn't been shared out, we'll make sure it does get shared out. But Rich, let me just say, it's nice to talk to you in person, to geek out together. To have a shared passion, and thank you for enabling me for this. I didn't have this, and a lot of collectors have liked this particular series. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but I definitely want to ask, in the realm of introducing yourself to everybody, why you like this enough to have sent one to me to unbox with you.
Hey guys, I'm Rich from Pop Critica. You can check us out at popcritica.com. We're basically a toy, mostly toy, but pop culture reviews, pop culture news, just fun stuff, anything interesting, anything cool on the net. So this is one of the things that we really focus on the site, and because me and the guys that run the site are huge collectors of Japanese toys. We love anime, manga, so when these Japanese toy companies started picking up like the Star Wars license, we just got hooked. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and the two together are just like match made in heaven for us. So the Mafex line, out of the 3 or 4 lines that are coming out of Japan right now is a little hit or miss. Some of the figures are really good, some of them are this is actually one of the standout figures, and there's a couple reasons. I think it's got some cool accessories, and it's got some kind of throwback things that really will remind you once you open these up of Kenner and some of the older stuff that Hasbro used to do. And I thought this is probably I don't want to say I'm being your pusher here, but I guess I'm being your pusher. This is your gateway into a world. And you're going downhill from here.
It's great to have a figure focus, but or at least one focus. But like I said, it's difficult to stick to just one. And I find that if I like one particular type of toy, I'm likely to pick it up, or the entire series or a lot of it. And there's a huge place in my heart that is always going to be set aside for Classic 5 POA. And I know a lot of collectors anymore have really, walked away from it because they value higher points of articulation, higher levels of detail. I think for me, it's about the sculpt, and it's about the balance, and it's about the, just the looking at it and seeing this work of art. And for someone more like yourself, someone who's more into like photographing toys, I'm a huge toy photography fan. Like my entire feed is dominated with toy photographers because so I find that I see the value in having a higher points of articulation and being able to swap hands or heads or faces or whatever. But it's not necessarily the thing that I chase. I'm a huge fan of figure lines or anything with like robot, cyborg, creature, anything that doesn't have a human likeness. I find myself insanely turned off by most things that have a human likeness. And so while I don't mind, like, let's say a Funko Pop Vinyl stylized human likeness, because it's obviously, it's stylized. It's okay. Or like even a Galactic Heroes figure, which I've recently become a fan of because of our daughter Jedi. I don't mind because they're intentionally not trying to pass themselves off as the character. Where I really start to kind of lose touch with a lot of the more premium toys, not just the higher points of articulation, because it's not a huge value for me, but specifically when they try to make them look like the actor, the person who was portraying a particular character, and they 9 times out of 10, man, they totally missed the mark. I mean, like laughably, and yeah. I don't. That's where I'm particular that way. But you know, I found that that's how. There's no wrong way to collect, certainly, and this is something that I've eyeballed for a while. What does this retail for?
So they vary. So the cool thing about these is once they come out, depending on how many were produced, and the Japanese produce a little bit differently. So they'll kind of go on a pre-order basis. It's not like Hasbro where they sell predominantly to retailers. So depending on how many retailers buy, they kind of throw out there, and you can be stuck with Yarna Del Gargan on the shelves for 3 years.
I have one on my Java shelf over there. I've got a Yarna.
So these depend. If they're not selling well, they'll drop below their MSRP. If they're selling well, they'll obviously go up. These are kind of hovering between like 35 and 50 right now, which is I think a great deal. But there's some other ones in the line that are going for 75 and up. So it really depends on pre-order, and then how they end up, how many of those pre-orders get fulfilled, because people will end up kind of canceling out sometimes. So.
Yeah, I really don't want to open it. I've said this over and over again. Like as soon as I received it, I showed in the blog, which I don't think has gone public yet. But I mean, it's very display worthy to me. It looks great inside the package. It's not necessarily my scale, like my favorite scale, which of course is a super tiny 3.5 inch with a classic, or 3.75 inch, sorry, classic Kenner type of scale. But this is the die-cast Disney Elite Series figure, which is 7 inches, and this looks to be appropriate or like pretty close to the 6-inch Black Series line from Hasbro. Is that right? About a 6-inch scale?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tall. I think it's about 6.7 is kind of what I read on the measurements. So I think some of the figures, because Hasbro's kind of all over the place too. Yeah. Some figures fit in with these, some don't. So it really depends on who you're putting next to it. There's a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight that Tamashii put out, and they also put out a Darth Vader, which is one of the other Japanese companies. This is, perfect scale with it, whereas their own is too short. So it's weird. You can even mix and match between lines and get some amazing mixes too. But to the packaging, so one of the things that you'll start noticing, and I think we're seeing it now, is even the Hasbro 6-inch Black Series and the 3 3/4 are going into this kind of premium style packaging, which was originated in Japan. So it's funny to see the stuff we've been collecting for 4 or 5 years now kind of starting to get picked up over here because of the perceived value of something like this, of a display like this. So it's interesting that you picked up on that, and are like, I don't want to open it. So
yeah, well, I from a collector standpoint, I like trying to sometimes get 2 of something, knowing that, hey, I want to open and play with it. But this is, and I'll open it. I need to open it. I know that's the whole unboxing. I say this may very well be the ultimate Darth Vader figure, if only because you mentioned the price point. And I'm pretty much done. As much as I think I initially appreciated what Disney did with the Elite Series figures at $25, $30 ish. Once you get them out of the package, they kind of lose their luster, so to speak. If only because joints having issues, balance having issues. It's just replete with issues. And I've never been a huge fan of the 6-inch Black Series line from Hasbro. I've picked them up, if I really like the figure, but I'm inclined to just keep them in the package and not get 2 of those. Darth Vader's is typically different, but you're not the only person to have really applauded what's coming out of other countries. Specifically because the attention to detail that they might give the figures that we may not be able to get here in America.
One of the things that I really like about these, and I think you nailed it earlier, was as a toy photographer, it's really important for me to have accessories to kind of be able to put these in 5 or 6 or 7 different poses. And the more accessories they include, I may not necessarily use them at a given time, but there may be a scene where I want to recreate from Empire where Vader's reaching out and outstretching his hand. Or I may want to create the scene in Jedi where He's, Luke's standing over him, and he's unmasked. So to have all those accessories and kind of, it's the price point is a little bit higher than the $20 Hasbro or the $25 that Hasbro's charging. But if you think about it, you're buying one figure and not 3 or 4 or 5 over the years. So that one buy is just kind of like that kill the bird with one stone, or 2 birds with one stone. You're getting everything in one shot.
Well, I usually just wait until random internet people send me the Darth Vader figures. I'm kidding. I didn't ask. I didn't ask. You offered, and of course I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look, because I haven't made the leap. And people have encouraged, like, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. But again, I'll go back to saying I'm fine with the smaller scale. I love it. And I know as a collector sometimes, and I think I've met a few others that really don't mind the 5 POA stuff, including Jason Krebsbach, also known as Yak Face. He doesn't mind, the scale and the points of articulation as much as some other people really get angry. And I'm like,
I think the anger stems from I feel like there's a disconnect between Hasbro, or they feel like there's a disconnect between themselves and Hasbro as collectors. And I think they don't realize that Hasbro is really they're looking to fill the shelves and kind of turn things over and make a profit on mass retail, and adding cost onto the production of figures isn't going to do that for them. And right now, their go-to-market strategy doesn't align with collectors. It's kids and the fan that goes out there and says, hey, that's only $5, let me grab that real quick. Not, hey, there's a $20 figure, let me buy that. So that's why they're going to a bigger scale, I think, too, with the collector's line, is because those smaller figures at $20 that was a tough pill to swallow for some people. Now you're talking about 6 inches versus 3 3/4. There's the perceived value of that is a little bit higher. So, I'll pay the $25 for it. It's a bigger figure. I'm getting more value from it. So, I think that's why people are upset. They're used to getting that super articulated figure for $10, $15, and now they're not getting that anymore. And they're just kind of bashing the Black POA.
I don't pretend to understand the toy industry, but I also know that the playability value for that target audience is, I'd say what they're up to, what the classic, I keep saying classic scale, 3.75 inch scale. They're going for like $7, and I'm very lucky in the sense that a lot of the things that I get, are either I'm grateful because of gifts, but I also earn gift cards that I basically exchange those points in to cover my, these types of hobbies. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to slice through the tape here in the back, to note something too, and this is something that Rich pointed out before we started the hangout. There's a little hologram there on the bottom. Rich, do you want to explain why that is important specifically with the Mafex line?
Yeah, so if you look right over here, you can see it, and also see it on here. So we were kind of talking about price point and the demand for these. Once one of these gets really high in demand, and if they don't do a second production run, what will end up happening is they get bootleggers out of China kind of making dupes of them and kind of trying to pass them off as the original. So that on these in particular, the hologram kind of indicates that it's a real item. I've seen some holograms fake, but it's a lot harder to fake a hologram. So just one of those things where if you're buying a figure from Japan, a lot of times there's going to be some type of indicator, be it a hologram or a special sticker that differentiates it from a fake. So
it's just great. I mean, I just love. I mean, you got box art here on the side. I mean, to give this an unboxing go around, you can tell this must be like a 2 years old with that Stormtrooper, Rebel Stormtrooper type of branding. But I love that Darth Vader's there on the side. I love that over here on the side you've got another Darth Vader. I just love that they accommodate this wonderful design even on the front. They've really spent a lot of time on the packaging. On the back showing, hey, you could pose it this way. I guess maybe I'm afraid of doing this because not just the value, because I think I'm potentially going to put this Vader back into the box here because he displays so well, but just knowing that this may suck me down the rabbit hole.
What did they say about pushers? The first one's on me?
Yeah, the first taste is always free. Don't rip. No, come on, Chris. Come on, you can do this. Oh, no bend.
When you get these out, they have this tray that they're in that it's super easy to put them back in and kind of put them back in the box.
So clean. Oh, oh, this is this is exciting. A new figure from a new manufacturer that I have not yet tried. Yeah, there's the top of the tray. Yeah, you know, I know a lot of people really get into Hot Toys in the sideshow collectibles, and I'm grateful again for having the opportunity to play, you know, with a lot of them. But it's not necessarily the scale is not my scale, and the detail is wonderful, beautiful. Like if I was a photographer or into that kind of thing, I'd love it. Whoa, okay, I like the feel of the figure. It feels wow. I hate you. I hate you so much. Rich,
is this not what I?
Oh man,
this really feels like what you would expect from Kenner if they were still around now.
This is what I expect from Hasbro with their Black Series line. Yeah, honestly, this is. Yeah. We'll see if we can get the feet. I always the legs and the feet. I usually have an issue with the Black Series, but wow, it's like I can pose and it sticks. You know, it just feels like okay, I want the arm to be like that, and then it's like that. Oh man.
Yeah, one of the awesome things about this, there's
sorry,
sorry, is the armor of the shoulder armor. So
I just noticed it pivoted.
Yeah, that's really cool, right?
I also noticed that the helmet or the top part comes off there, and you can see. Sorry, and you've got pictures on the website too, so I'm not gonna, spend too much time on this. But then you can see the back of Vader's guard head there. Soft goods for the cloak. That is nice.
And it's also wired on the sides.
I just noticed that. So it keeps.
So it's really cool. So you can kind of do it like a windswept thing. It'll stick. You can see it's kind of sticking here.
Yeah, this is really nice. So you got, I mean, you can, if you want to walk us through some people are really interested in the points of articulation, because I'm telling you, this is about the most super articulated Vader I certainly have, that I might have seen.
All right, so head it obviously goes side to side. I think it's on a ball joint, it feels like. And then you've got upper torso here is also articulated. Got articulated waist. Shoulders go up. The shoulder pauldrons are attached. So one of the cool things is you can get them up, and I know sometimes with some of the Hasbro figures, there's a certain point that you can reach and it kind of sticks. You can't go beyond that angle. These you can go anywhere. It's pretty free moving. You can see here, got a ball joint on the shoulder, bicep swivel, double hinged elbows. There is a swivel at the top of the glove, and then there's a ball hinged wrist. Moving down.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Same thing with the legs. You got hinges. Looks like there's a swivel hinge here at the hips. Double hinge knees, and then rocker ankles, and boot or toe articulation as well. So this thing is loaded with articulation points.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do here, I took off the head, which you can do. How do I affix the I guess the head, the helmetless head? Because I popped out the ball.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. You pull off the dome.
Yeah.
And then you pull, and then this part here.
That comes in too.
Yeah, so that splits apart at the mask.
I'm trying to
or at the breathing apparatus.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it apart here.
And then you can see.
And then at the wrist too, the right wrist, I was trying to dislocate, and I was having problems with that too.
Yeah, the right wrist is tough. I tried to do it when I was photographing.
Which, doesn't bother me too much, because it's like I'd rather have the joints
tight.
Yeah, very, very tight. Boy, getting this, it may not even be worth it here. Apart from and I just clipped my fingernails.
Yeah, I got mine.
Bastard. I can see I can see the seam split, but man, were you on a Star Cruiser? Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Got something jammed in here. Yeah, screw it. I'll do it later. I can't get it out. It's nice to know that I have the option. I'll just leave it there. The helmet goes back on. The top of the helmet goes back on. Or if I can figure out. Oh, I see. There's a pinhole
Yep.
Trying to. This is always the challenge in these super detailed figures and in getting them to not just come apart, but specifically come back together. Boy, this one's a trick and a half.
There should be a little pin at the top, and it should kind of slide right in.
Yeah, but getting it into the hole. I'm going the hole! Yeah, it went in the hole. Let's see if I'm going to try that. I popped off the hand before. There we go.
So hands pop off pretty easily.
There we go. I was going for the... Yeah, I was going for the... Oops. I lost Darth Vader's stump. Okay, this is... Nobody move! Nobody move! Where does stump... I lost his stump. I may have to look for it later. Because where did his stump go? Dude, it had to go somewhere. I feel like this is like the Lego set of figures here. I found his stump.
Totally common. It happens all the time, that because the way the trays are set up, you always pop out that one piece and you're looking for it for like half an hour, and next thing you know, it like slipped into your pocket.
Yeah.
And it fell down, and yeah.
I found his stump there, the wiry stump there. Now he's got he's injured. Wow, I really kind of like. I like it. It feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels like, I've got a lot of options, certainly with the hands, which I'm not likely ever to use, or even the lightsaber. Whether the actual blade's been ignited or not, fits in there nicely. Wow.
And
yes. Wow. Okay.
If you look on the side of him, of his left side,
yeah,
there's a
hilt.
hilt.
There a hook? Holy, yeah, there is. Oh, look, yeah, a little. Okay, I see where you can actually attach it. Got it.
Right in.
There we go. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I'm not showing everybody. I don't have the camera that way, but effectively there's this little hole. Even though this would not be accurate because it's got an ignited blade. Kind of pins inside. That would be a bad idea, to have a lightsaber in there. And it's in there. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall out easily. Like I can shake it around.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, it feels okay. That's a great word to use. It feels like I can move the joints, but it's not loosening the joints. So it's a solid build, and it's the sculpt to me though is like, boy, am I ever going to be able to take his hand off again? There we go. It's solid. I mean, it's a quality build. It feels like I can twist and position in just about any way, shape, or form, and still, be able to retain its, I guess, position. And I don't always have that, specifically with the super articulated figures. The hands are definitely a lot easier to interchange once you have the wrist located or on it. But see, like I can position it, and it holds instantaneously, and that's something that I really, really appreciate. I also appreciate that I can set him on a balance, and he balances pretty quickly. And for a super articulated figure, that's a big deal. Wonderful sculpt. It's hard to miss with Darth Vader, though. It really is.
Yeah. What do you think of the helmet? Do you think the helmet is accurate? I thought, for some reason, I always thought the helmet looked a little off.
So
the dome is a little.
Okay, so it depends on which Vader you're talking about. It's like an Episode 3 Vader. And in fact, it looks like on the box, it looks like a very Episode 3 Vader. I'm sure someone, who is paying a lot more attention could tell you which one it was specifically. But another thing I will note, wonderful paint application. Astounding paint app. I say that word not lightly. This is an astounding paint application. The details, I'm going to try to get as close. And again, look at Rich's pictures on his website. But it may not have been hand painted, but this was TLC'd here. This is not a sloppy job. I mean, and I mean that with all respect. It's clean. It's on point. Everything is on point. There's no sloppiness in the paint application. None.
Yeah, that's one thing you always see out of Japan is there are very few figures that have QC issues in terms of paint. They always nail the paint, and it's usually pretty consistent from figure to figure. Even the head sculpt here, you never get wonky eyes like you do sometimes with Hasbro, where you got like an eyeball and an eyebrow or something.
Yeah, I've seen those before. Yeah, what was I going to? Yeah, oh, the head. Where did the head? Okay, I thought I lost Darth Vader's head. I was going to try to show everybody from my end up close. See if I can get it to. Ah! That was a stupid idea anyway. I apologize, everybody. I've got a good head in my fingers. I was trying to get the camera specifically to focus. Well, that looks eerie. Sebastian Shaw looks eerie like this. Let me just say.
Pretty creepy.
But yeah, the detail is. I mean, up close and personal. If you've got pictures, it's astounding. Okay, yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm sold. And I say that because it's like it's a good figure. Like if you're gonna get a figure and you like a particular character, don't settle for second best, if you will. If there's an option, take it. And it just seems that they've really, at least with the Darth Vader, I'm impressed. Compared to any, I should not have done that, but I'm okay. I haven't lost any Darth Vader hands that I know of. I was going to pull out something that also came in the packaging, and that is a stand.
Oh, great.
But this stand, I mean, I guess if you wanted to pose him in a way that he wouldn't self-balance, you got basically like a ring, your stand, and then your base to basically pose Vader in whatever way.
This stand that I found. So there's an Act 4 stage from Tamashii, which is a super popular stand. A lot of people that buy those style stands usually call that like the de facto version. These Mafex stands, because the figures are a little bit bigger and heavier, they're constructed a little bit sturdier. So you can really put a heavy figure on there and have that thing. If you want to put Vader kind of in kind of a jumping pose or something like that, you can totally do it. So yeah, the stands are awesome.
I'm sorry, I walked away because I wanted to get the black 6-inch series Darth Vader. So this one's out of package. Let's see if I can get the scale. They're about the same. Maybe the Mafex is a little taller, side by side. So the Mafex here, helmeted, and the unhelmeted is the Hasbro Black Series 6-inch, which I like. Let me try.
So I don't have the Hasbro one. Can you do like a two-handed pose like this? So one of the things is these guys can really, two-handed saber poses. You can
kind of. I can.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that frustrates a lot of people is, oh, so close, but I can't get it, and that's what really sets these apart. Is just a little bit more attention to detail. It's at a cost.
I can possibly get it like right there ish.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. But too much because the sculpt it works. But it always bothered me about the 6-inch Black Series line from Hasbro's. It's very difficult to sometimes get them to stand and look accurate, specifically because of their hip joints. And I'm not having that issue at all with because I can feel I can twist the leg, so I can just get it to stand in a natural type of position rather than this very awkward position, and I can get it to balance almost immediately. This has ruined me, I think. I'm gonna have to look into what others they have in the line, because again, I'm not into the human figures as much as like a stormtrooper, anything. An AT-AT driver, I'd just be gaga for. But okay, so there's what's that? Oh,
he just came out the other day. So,
dude. Okay, I'm getting those. I mean, I hate, and I love to say it, but man, these are just. It's a beautiful fit. It looks beautiful. It feels beautiful. I mean, you're paying for quality here. Here's another question, because I know there are a lot of brands coming out of Japan. Where does Mafex rank in these types of figures? Because I know there are a couple of other brands, but is this about? I mean, in terms of this scale figure for Darth Vader, I'm not joking. This is if the best in terms of options, the best in terms of quality. This is the best Darth Vader figure I've held on to, save the classic Kenner 5 POA, from my childhood, which is always going to have a special place in my heart. This is primo. What others are out there?
So there's you have Tamashii Nations, which is Bandai Japan. They're probably the most popular line. I think I have
How do they rank? I guess not just with price, but how do they rank against, let's say, this Mafex, which is now a new standard for me?
So they're probably toe to toe. I think it's just design differences. So interpretation. So here's our Luke Skywalker, Farm Boy Luke, that just came out like 2 weeks ago. I think there are some design differences. It's like almost like between a Hasbro and a Mattel. You're going to have some figures that are better than others. I think this Vader is probably the top of the line. I think it's a little bit better than the Figure Arts one. There's a company called Kyoto who does Revoltech.
Revoltech is revolting. I can tell you my experience. No, I'm never going to waste my time or money again. And it was cheap, obviously, but it was cheap.
And then there's Figma. Figma is more they're more into the anime stuff, so their stuff is also stylized more. These are probably more realistic. So the Tamashii and the Mafex are the two more realistic of the four.
So here, let me just, the wire in the cape. This is why. Look at that. The cape is standing on its dude. Come on, dude. Hasbro got to step up their game. I'm telling you, man. Honestly, if the Hasbro Black Series was this, I'd be a fan. I'm not even joking. This is just, it's a wonderful, wow. Oh, wow. Minus the not being able to pop off the head easily, which I'm not going to do, all that often. This is just, the bar has been set so incredibly high with this. Now, look at that. The cape is flowing in the wind. Dude.
One of the other things I really like, too, is that even though that they did use fabric for the cape, the lower tunic is kind of like a rubbery material. Yeah. And it doesn't, I don't know, I just think it lends well to that, like to posing, because I think fabric in that space would have almost kind of looked poofy and kind of.
Yeah, so that's the issue I have. It's like a dress. With which, if he was wearing a dress, that's fine. It just doesn't look very cloaky.
Yeah.
This is and it's okay. It's not that I'm not saying the Black Series is horrific, but I haven't been turned on by anything that's come out of the Black Series line apart from sculpts, which again, keeping it in the box and I'm fine. But wow, I am really going to have to look into the Mafex. Now I'm also curious to know, what the other lines are too. Not having the SH Figure Arts people, a lot of collectors have been, hey, you got to try. But this may have been the gateway drug into that world, because this is impressive. This is most impressive. I didn't mean to go down that path.
You did.
I did not mean to do that. I really did. There are a few questions here that we got specifically from the community, some names that I recognize. Johnny Worthington, who I guess is celebrating Father's Day down in Australia today. Happy Father's Day. From what I've seen with reviews, the joints are very, very well machined rather than just a pop-in. Mike White asks, is the cape weighted at the bottom? It seems to have that appearance on video, like Batman's cape with weighted points almost. I'm not feeling it, but yeah, the wire is all the way through, so you can position it. You want to put a little flare there? You can't. Look at this. Oh, man!
Yeah, you can really curl it. I had about 30 minutes with it last night when I took some photos, so if you check out the photos on the site, I tried to curl it a little bit. It's not weighted at the bottom, but I think by not being weighted at the bottom, it kind of gives it a little bit of flow that Vader's cape had. But yeah, you can do some amazing.
Look at this. I'm flaring. Now, my concern about this is specifically how long until the wire bends or gives out. But look, you want to talk about being able to get action shots. You could have a Vader bearing down, in some capacity. And look, the cape is just, the position is just, you can get it picture perfect, literally.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to kind of mold around and get, I don't think there are any issues, even though it's not weighted down, there are no issues with kind of displaying it in a certain position if you want. It doesn't really kind of poof poof out too obnoxiously.
But is the wire prone to breaking or snapping at any point?
I'm sure if you kind of it's probably like the twist ties. If you heat it up from twisting over and over and over, eventually you'll kind of snap it. But I think if you're careful with it, it should be okay. And I was just kind of looking at the way it's inserted, and it looks as though if you kind of roll the cape up from the corner, you can slide the wire in and out because it's
okay.
Right in there. So if it ever does break, it looks like it's replaceable. So
wow,
shouldn't be a problem.
Oh man, that is so. I just the utility of that in terms of at least photography or just posing. That's pretty wild. I've never had a figure, well, specifically a Darth Vader figure, be able to handle something like that with a cloak. I can see why so many people have been telling me to try these. Yeah, Bandai is another one that I've been told I need to try. I guess I need to do like the Vaders, if anything, because that's always kind of my touch point.
Yeah, the Tamashii, the figure art of Vader, the difference between that and this is, and really what was the differentiating factor for me in picking this one over that one is the cape. They use a plastic cape that's articulated, and it looks kind of clumsy and unnatural, whereas this is, I think they did a great job with cape on this one. And,
oh God, no, they didn't even this is as far as I'm concerned, this is best in class, like the cape. Because okay, so again, let's do a comparison to, like, in terms of the value of the figure. We've got a hefty Darth Vader. This is the Black Series. I'm sorry, the die-cast Disney Elite series, but the cape you can't do anything with. It is what it is. Like, this is the softer plastic, but you've got very, very big limitations with this compared to, certainly the Black Series, but definitely, like, this is great. This is just wonderful. Oh man.
I think it comes down to, if you're looking for a display piece and you're going to keep a figure in a single pose, the die-cast ones are fine. But I think if you're kind of like me, who's kind of grown up with Hasbro or with Kenner and Hasbro and kind of that super articulation, this kind of fits that or fills that gap where you feel like you're getting everything in one shot with the figure.
This is really thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a greater than average Darth Vader figure. It really just makes you wonder. I understand what Hasbro's doing, but man, like, I'm not gonna say it's the exact same price point, but I would rather have one of these than two Black Series Vaders, or with the Emperor's Wrath Vader they have, and then this one. I don't know if they're gonna be doing a new sculpt with Rogue One or a repack, but this is just absolutely stellar. That cape, if nothing sells this figure beyond the paint application, beyond the points of articulation, beyond the accessories options, like that cape is just, it's just so it's just standing here. It's just, you can just see the wind kind of flowing through the cape,
It's funny because it's those little things that are making a big difference. And, if you look at Hasbro's sculpts, if you look at some of their sculpts are fantastic. Like, I've seen someone strip the paint off their Han Solo Black Series 6-inch figure and repaint it. I mean, it just looked absolutely incredible. And I think that's kind of what makes the big difference is wire in the cape. Hasbro doesn't do it. These guys do. It makes a difference. Paint. They make sure that the paint is spot on. It is to the T. There is nothing kind of crossed over, out of whack, and it's super accurate. And I think that's really what sets it apart. That attention to detail.
I'm not joking, man. I'm seriously considering getting one of these for the road. Well, I mean, toy photography. I mean, you're out and about, you see a magazine, and I'm not even kidding, man. I never considered that with anything else, just because you've got so many options, man. Oh, it's just they really did. I'm not. I was nervous about trying this too because it's like, it's just that first one, right? It's that first one. We've got Mike White also says, not a fair comparison, but the Disney Lego minifigures, for example, I'm so nervous about the capes being damaged. I don't even assemble them and kept the capes flat in the original packaging. The Lego minifigures, well, I guess that really, those are just pretty simple capes too. Different kind of cloth, usually the same.
Yeah, and I think they're don't they fray at times?
I'm sure they
kind of take care. Yeah.
They're not cut very well. They work, but I don't have a lot of heavy use of Lego minifigures at this point in time. Tony Zotti says the Hasbro Black Series Poe Dameron sculpt looks like a dog's dinner. Yeah, dude, but it's human likeness. And I just the Han Solo, the recent Han that they did, I thought they nailed it. I really like the older Han Solo. I thought that was the best human likeness sculpt to come out of the Black Series in this last go around. But I've already seen like some previews of some of the Black Series 6-inch for Rogue One, the human likenesses, and I'm like already going, nope. Mm-mm. They're trying to pass off Cassian Andor, and I'm looking and I'm like going, no.
Yeah, I think that's almost good. I did get a chance to see the Jyn Erso in person and kind of handle that figure. And one of the cool things that Hasbro is doing is they're doing this translucent skin. So it's kind of got like a satin finish to it, which is a new thing for them. And I think that could take off. At least it's good to see them willing to try new things. Mm-hmm. And you put a little bit of paint variation on that, you can get a really good skin tone. So if you've got a good sculpt, a little bit of skin tone variance on it, you can hit one out of the park that way. But yeah, that's kind of what they're playing. They're playing catch up with this kind of stuff. There's a price difference, but like you said, do you buy 3 or 4 Vaders or do you buy kind of one Ultimate?
Well, I ultimately get all the Vaders because it's what I do. But like specifically, like if it came down to it, the decision's kind of been made. Like it's just stellar. Like this is seriously a toy that I feel I could go out. Like I've done like easy shots, but like this is one that I don't feel is going to fall apart easily. That I feel is going to give me a good degree of balance. It feels solid. It's a good travel figure. The joints, even the ones that pop out, like I can just position, even after popping it out, and I'm sure with enough wear and tear that'll eventually dissipate, but it just feels solid.
Yeah, one other thing that's pretty cool is like if you look, you can totally take the elbow and just get it kind of. It's got some human kind of articulation kind of to it, so you can get that elbow belt.
Yeah, double joint. Not double jointed, but what do they call that? There's a certain descriptor for it. So you've got basically a hinge on double hinged.
Yeah, it's double. Yeah,
it's a double hinged elbow, so that it allows what Rich is saying effectively. Yeah, you can really tighten it up versus just one hinge, and you would have limited motion. Wow.
You can kind of get it up high. Same thing with the legs. There's you get some really good kind of kneeling poses are no problem. So seeing the Emperor kind of kneeling down. Yeah, you can get some pretty awesome poses with these guys just because of how well articulated they are.
I'm impressed. All right, I don't want to keep you too long, but this is great. Thank you for this. This is wonderful.
Awesome. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. I do and will, and am now off to find the everything else that you need to tell me about so that I can.
There you go. There's your next start.
Yeah, great. Thanks. I appreciate it. I assume that, are they like you can get Amazon? I don't know if Amazon carries a lot of this stuff or if that's at a premium or if you have to go directly through other websites.
With these, I would import from Japan. You'll probably, even with shipping, you can pick up 3 or 4 at a time. The prices will be cheaper, and then with your shipping, it'll something like an HLJ or an Ami.com. They're pretty reasonable with the item and the shipping.
Okay. All right, that's on my to-do list now. Great. Thank you. No, I'm sorry. That was a sarcastic thank you. It was like a thank you of you've just opened up a new world there. I'm serious. I'm going to get one to travel with.
Yeah, where are you going to take photos? Just kind of
So,
Stanley.
well, yeah, you never know. Like if I see a really cool shot, a really cool sunset, or like, I live, in Seattle, so we've got these scapes everywhere. And just, kind of seeing, oh, there's a really good Vader shot, or even like with a building kind of thing. Yeah, I just never know. It just unlocks so many possibilities.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a genuine thank you.
Yeah,
It's not a sarcastic.
yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see the photos. You got to share them.
Oh, great! Now you're holding my feet to the fire. I will. I've got some ideas. I need some fishing line. So like what I'll do is this. I'll like, you'll see the back of Vader like this. See the back of Vader or whatever, and then like I'll get some fishing line and string up like one of my Ewoks. You can't see the fishing line, and he's like force choking an Ewok. Oh, yeah. That's like my kind of like, hey, let's have fun.
When you start getting more of these, if you want to kind of talk through and review more, I'd love to do it. I think these are awesome. So
it doesn't take much to convince me to talk about Star Wars. Basically, do I have a pulse? Yes. Okay, let's talk about Star Wars.
Awesome.
Like toys, Star Wars toys. Yeah, it's all in the same kind of realm. No, I'm very, very happy to do something like this, if only because it's great to connect with other kidults, and especially those who share a passion and can open doors. Like seriously, I mean, I like trying new things, even though I've been afraid to try them because I've been burned so many times before. But this was not a burn, dude. This is so cool. So not burned. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Anything else you wanted to?
Yeah, just be sure to check out the gallery on the site, and if you guys want to follow us, we do a ton of other Japanese stuff. We've got some here. I'll kind of show you what we got in the works. So one of the things you said that is you love kind of non-human characters. I am a sucker for just great engineering on a toy. So this is Devilman. Here's some of the artwork. It's just absolutely incredible. It's got huge dragon wings. Just an amazing piece of anime. We got some other stuff here. Let's see. We got as goofy as this is, it's a Figma Ted figure. Really cool, funny little guy. Again, from the Japanese company. And we've got some other stuff. We've got Link from
Zelda. Yeah.
So you can check out the stuff on the site at popcritica.com.
Well, we've got a couple links in the description, but we can always update it with more and annotations and all that stuff. So, thank you once again, and everybody else. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the commentary and the questions. I recognize 99% of everybody who's here. Thank you. Including some of our patrons, which I'm very grateful for. Okay, everybody, go have fun with your own Star Wars toys. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I love you. I appreciate you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.